Ahoy and welcome to this Narrowboat adventure. My name's Jasmin and this is going to be a bit of a double bill today because I'm going to talk a little bit about Crick and then I'm going to move on to something dramatic that happened yesterday. So, Crick, first of all, was incredibly busy. I wasn't expecting that many people, which is kind of silly because I went on the first day and it's the biggest boat show of the year. So, what did I expect? So first of all, very quickly found myself in the beer tent and the music was great, and of course that's where I found all the other narrowboat YouTubers. So I met loads of people that I hadn't met before, and of course some friendly faces I had met before were the girls from the Narrowboat Experience, and of course Phil from Narrowboat Helen. I met David from Let's Explore, and I've been talking to him loads online, so it's been really cool to meet him. We've messaged back and forth a fair few times. I also met the guys from It's a Narrowboat Thing, and I also met the guys from Narrowboat to the Deep North. So I really enjoyed meeting all of them, and I'm sorry if there's someone else that I met that I've forgotten to mention, but everyone I met was absolutely lovely. Especially meeting loads of you viewers, because it was really nice to meet you and put faces to sort of comment names, and it was just lovely, and I was so pleasantly surprised by all the wonderful people that came up to say hi and that they liked my videos. So yeah, if you have any pictures of us together, send me them on Twitter or on Facebook, please, because I'd love to see them. So one of my favourite things was, in the middle of the filled part of Crick, they had a bunch of boats like out of the water, so you could actually see the hull and have a look on the outside, and then also have a look through the inside of the boat as well. A lot of the boats were decked out a bit more modern than is really my taste, but that's fine. Different folks for different strokes. No, different strokes for different folks. Yes. So I really enjoyed looking through all those different boats and the ways that they'd done things up. The bathrooms were absolutely gorgeous. I'm well into the modern bathrooms. But yeah, I think for me, I like a more sort of cottagey feel. I really enjoyed going through and looking at all of the really geeky boat stuff. So like, I really enjoyed looking through at all of the different like engine parts. I spoke to a man with this very special new kind of blacking, which is interesting. We'll be blacking our boat soon. I also spoke to somebody who did composting toilets. What else did I find out about? Oh, I spoke to a really interesting guy who did marine loans. So I thought that was quite interesting because we didn't have a marine loan, so I was kind of interested in how that worked. I also spoke to a guy about crash covers. Spoke to the guys from the narrowboating sort of magazines like the Telegraph and people like that. And I got a whole heap of literature which I'm going to go through and read through and enjoy myself looking at. The boats that were actually on the water, I didn't get a chance to have a look in because they were all done by appointment, which is a shame. But yeah, it was a really lovely day, and I really enjoyed speaking to the IWA and a lot of the people who are really interested in looking after the water. So that was amazing. So that's probably all I have to tell you about Crick. So let's move on to the second part of the video, the dramatic part. So yesterday, after all this time, I finally became a proper boater. I took a look. So I went in. So I'm not terribly good at mooring on my own. We've been doing a bit of a trip at the moment, a Thames trip, and so I've been doing quite a lot more solo cruising. And one of the things that I found is that I'm pretty good at everything until right at the end when I get too tired or hungry and I need to moor up, and then it all just goes horribly wrong. So like the first time I was doing my cruise on my own this trip, I ended up that the visitor moorings that I'd been aiming for didn't have any space. None of the narrow boats would let me moor up alongside them. But basically I ended up moored at the bottom of a steep 15-foot drop of brambles and stinging nettles, so that wasn't ideal, but it was only one night and we needed to stop because I was hungry and tired and I couldn't go any further. And then the second time wasn't that bad, actually. I just ended up moored on the end of a lock landing, right next to where a visitor mooring started. which is really bad on the canals, but on the Thames I don't think it's that bad because the lock landings are like ridiculously long. And I moved up as soon as the space was available on the regular visitor mooring, so I was only there for about an hour or so. And then this time really was the worst of the worst. So I was heading for somewhere that we'd moored before, and basically as I came into moor, I did the reverse on the engine to slow it down and hopefully stop it, which is what I thought would have happened. The back of the boat comes right into the edge, starts to ground a little bit, so I jump off with the centre line. I think because it had hit the ground, it started going the other way, and I could not for the life of me get the momentum back the other way. And I know here in where we are in the Thames there is a bit of current as well, so it's probably had something to do with that, but I started losing the boat. And then I started getting to the end of the centre line. I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? So I just ripped off my trainers, jumped in, started pulling the boat back. I couldn't get back up onto the boat, so I had to just pull her back to the point where we started grounding again, and then I could jump back on. But it was just really silly. We do have an emergency ladder, so I wouldn't have been in that much of a problem had I actually not been able to get back on. Don't worry about that. But it was quite a thrilling experience. I was in the water up to my belly button at least, and well, all my clothes got completely soaked in the end. I did get the boat back. We're now moored in exactly the position I'd been originally going for, and I just have my clothes drying out on the front of the boat. Had a shower, of course. As we'd been like moving, it was nice and hot anyway, so that was fine. But yes, I am officially a proper boater. When I was at Crick, whenever I met somebody, I've made these key rings using the Iron brand, floating cork boaters key rings, and I was giving them out to people that met me there. I also want to do the same for my patrons. So if you are one of my patrons, I'm going to be sending you a message soon asking you for your address, or if you do the patron over $7, I think it is, then you'll be getting one of the key rings as well. If you've got a patron, go and check your inbox because I'm going to be sending you a message asking for your address. If you want to follow us again on this Narrowboat adventure, you can click subscribe. If you would like to get notifications on Facebook, just follow me on there. It's just this Narrowboat adventure. And let me know in the description if you have ever been in. Tell me the story of that. If you went to Crick, tell me what your favourite thing was at Crick. And have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!